Welcome back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're calm, we're local, and nothing more local than this next piece. The World Cup folks here in Baltimore are trying to bring the 2026 soccer tournament here, and who better to talk about that than another athlete playing another sport in a wubble right now down in Bradenton. I am so glad she's taking a little time to come on. I had a chance to get to say hello last year at Baltimore Homecoming. She's a veteran in her sport, moving from Atlanta to Las Vegas via Bradenton. We welcome Baltimore's own Angel McCoughtry back onto WNST and resting and hydrating. And how many times are they testing you down there?
We get tested every day.
Every day. Is that uncomfortable, or you ever get used to it?
No, you get used to it, but you're safer in the wubble than, out there right now.
What does the wubble represent? Like, where are you allowed to go and where are you not allowed to go? I've wondered.
Pretty much just to the games and back. We play 20 minutes off campus, and we can pretty much roam around campus. But I think everybody kind of just stays near the hotel and goes to the pool and stuff like that. So we can't really go, off campus.
Look, I'm so familiar with your past, and you're one of these, celebrated Baltimoreans who's left. You got an ice cream place in Atlanta. You've had this incredible career. But I guess today I'm calling more to talk about not America or not Atlanta or not Las Vegas or Bradenton, but your world travel. And for a young lady in Baltimore to get a passport and go anywhere once would be kind of cool. But when I consider the experiences you've had around the world, in Africa, all over Russia, all over the world, I guess this is something when you do come home and talk to people who haven't traveled the world, we're in a very, very interesting time, not only in this country but around the world. And I think it takes people that have seen a little bit of the world to bring that home and try to express what's going on, because it is a big world, isn't it?
Yeah. I just think that, I always tell people to travel because it broadens their mind, and it allows them to see different things that they would never see. Sometimes TV doesn't depict what the reality actually is.
Well, and I guess we're all trying to figure out the reality, all these sports bubbles and sports being shut down. Give me your life the last 6 months. I left you in October. You're seeing your family, this crazy homecoming thing that was amazing and awesome last year. And then a couple months later, all of our lives get shut down. I mean, you had an injury. You had all sorts of things going on. How has your March to August looked here in the last year? Because I don't think anything's going to the script for any of us, right?
Yeah, I think everybody just went through kind of like a whirlwind of how the world just shut down. So I was in Russia playing, and then maybe about a couple weeks later, we was going home because the season was finished. Everything was shut down because of the COVID situation. And, of course, everybody just had to stay home. We couldn't go anywhere. So I just started working out in my home, and I would go to the park and work out. Socially distanced, and that's how I tried to stay in shape during that time, because it was tough on everybody.
Well, I mean, I guess the first question would beg the question, what was it like to live in Russia, right? I mean, I had a chance to go over there and visit at one point in my life with a friend. Olympics have been over there. I mean, there's been opportunities to do it, the World Cup, the whole deal. The choice to play there, and finances and lifestyle, and you've picked a bunch of interesting places to play, including Lebanon, right?
Yeah, and prayers are out for Lebanon because they had an explosion there. But all those places have been really great experiences. They've been safe places. Like Lebanon, it was a very safe place, despite what happened the other day. And Russia, I have had great experiences, lifelong friends. So these are places that I chose to go just for the experience,
Well, we're talking about soccer and the World Cup and your wubble down there in Bradenton. I would think it would remind you when you were a young girl going off and playing in camp tournaments and, making your way to Louisville and doing all that you'd be shut down with a bunch of gals playing basketball. You were doing that when you were 15, right?
Yeah, I was doing that at an early young age, The game never leaves you, no matter how old you get. So, but it wasn't hard, not being able to play during COVID and things like that, because everything was shut down, the gyms, everything. But luckily, I did have a court in my backyard, so I will go back there and just do some of that.
Well, for you being over and getting back over here and finding what you found now with Black Lives Matter and your league being in the middle of making lots and lots of statements in and around Georgia and to Georgia Congress people and senators and whatnot, and the notion that you were going to go play in Vegas and haven't gotten there yet, right? Like, so all these teams playing in bubbles, 4 towns, but all sort of in one place. Not just COVID, but what's happened politically in this country in the last 90 days and what's about to happen over the next 100 days.
Yeah, I just say that, we're just living in a time now where it's just really, really tough on everybody. We're fighting 2 pandemics, you know what I mean, COVID and social injustice. So, I think this is a time now for us to really come together as a nation. And we're lacking, a sense of togetherness, a sense of community. That's what's been missing for a long time. And we need to get that back. With our nation, and things like that. And because we are leaders of the world, we don't want to be the laughing stock of the world. We don't want to I don't want to have to say like, wow, I live in one of the, top racist countries in the world. It's an embarrassment to even say that, for everything that America stands for. So we want to definitely clean up our nation and look a lot better to the rest of the world.
Well, to the rest of the world, you travel the rest of the world, and much like when I travel, you pull your passport out, and they hear your accent, and they know where you're from. You stand out a little bit more than I do, given your height, walking around the streets of Russia, in Moscow, wherever you were, airplanes, hotels, wherever. You sort of stand out as, well, maybe not from around here or from America. And you've represented America in so many ways throughout the world. Our standing in the world and how you were treated maybe when you were young at 18 or 19 versus what it's like to be there now, because I'm an American who's traveled internationally most years of my adulthood in various places all over the world, and it is different to be an American pre-Trump and certainly will be different post-COVID, I would think.
Yeah, it's definitely different now because, I've had some experiences where one time I was overseas and somebody said to me, hey, why do you guys always refer to black and white? Aren't you all American? And that really stuck with me because, we're all one nation, and yet we're so divided in our nation. And you have different, colors in other countries, but we look at them as maybe they're Spanish or they're French, even though they have different colors too, just like we do, So, and I remember I went to Africa and I was at a tech summit and I was talking to some tech guys. And I was saying, hey, you guys ever want to visit America? They were like, oh, no, we don't want to get shot. So, times are different now where I just don't want the representation of America to look the way it does. And I remember at one time I played in Turkey, and that's when Sandy Hook happened. They were like, gosh, you guys just shoot up kids? So it's just really like, we have to realize that our nation just has to do better. We have to do better because people are looking at us like, what in the world is going on over there? Why is this stuff still happening? So, that's the differences I see now when I travel.
Yeah, I see that in various places they look at us and say, how can you not raise the bar to not have Sandy Hook happening, to not have George Floyd and in our town, in our hometown, Freddie Gray, and you take Baltimore everywhere with you, right? I mean, and I think that there's something about when bad things happen in Baltimore in 2015, everybody knows that that's where you're from. You came back to be a part of homecoming last year. The reason I booked you on in the middle of all this basketball madness down in Bradenton was to talk about World Cup and what that would mean. There's 17 finalists. 10 are going to be chosen throughout North America. We certainly have a downtown center. We have a stadium that can accommodate this. We have great location on I-95 and some soccer heritage as well. This would really be an incredible feather in our cap as a community to win this thing, I think.
Yeah, we need this. We need something to lift our spirits and from everything that's going on. And, of course, when I tell people I'm from Baltimore, the first thing they mention is, oh, you're from The Wire. No, I'm not from The Wire. That's a TV show. There's pretty parts to Baltimore. And I think bringing the World Cup to Baltimore will raise a lot of our real estate and our businesses, and people can see the beautiful side of the harbor and the history we have with our sports, with the Orioles and the Ravens. So I think it's a great time to just lift our spirits. And once again, going back to bringing that togetherness and that sense of community back, that's what I'm really fighting to advocate so we can bring it in 2026 to Baltimore. That would be awesome.
I love when my guests say togetherness because my name's Ness, so I love that. Angel McCoughtry joining us here, Angel_35. She's out on Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that the Las Vegas team is. Does that sound weird for you after all the years with Atlanta, right? I mean, you always had a different jersey in off seasons and played different places, but as far as the WNBA and your legacy, and I saw you moved up to number 14 all-time scoring. I saw you share a little Jefferson's meme. That was nice out on your social, but this must be a nice time for you in your career as well, opening an ice cream store and moving into the area where you're not, you got more basketball behind you probably than in front of you at this point, right?
Well, yeah. It's a lot going on, but taking it step by step, definitely coming back off injury to WNBA. I'm really. It was weird at first, playing on one team for 10 years and all of a sudden you're on a new team. It was weird. It took me some adjusting, but to play in the likes of Asia Wilson, who will probably win MVP this year, it's really awesome. And we have a championship contending team, so hopefully I can get a couple rings under my belt. That's all that's left.
I was going to say, that's all you got left, right? I mean, where do you keep those Olympic gold medals? Do you keep any place special? I always ask when people have them.
Yeah, I keep mine in a drop box in the bank, and whenever I have to do an appearance, I just take them out.
You do wear them from time to time, though, because it's funny when people get bling like that. They feel uncomfortable. Sometimes they put it away. Sometimes they take it out. Sometimes it's once a year, But when you get it, you always wonder, like, where's it going to be in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years? And I'm sure it still has this incredible meaning. But when you take it out for a bunch of kids, it's a whole different thing, right?
Oh, they love it. I mean, the look on their faces, they're listening, and to be able to feel it, it's kind of like it has like a magic power to it, really. Whenever I put it on, people are staring at me everywhere. I go into a restaurant, I get a free meal paid for. I'm like, who did this? And, it's really magic behind it. And the kids hold it like, oh, my God. So those things are powerful. So,
Well, I hope that 6 years from now we get the World Cup, we get it here.
Yes.
I can hug you, I can high five you, low five you, whatever.
We'll do that.
I can get within 6 feet from you. But I hope that we have a magic time here, and I hope that the World Cup does select Baltimore. We've been a little downtrodden, a little beaten around, but we're coming back.
Yep,
and,
we're coming back.
We're not going to quit on the Charm City. So last thing for you, and I'm going to promote one of your competitors because they're one of my sponsors. I'm surrounded by empty pints of Taharka ice cream. And, it's made in Baltimore. You know about the social chain. You probably have eaten the honey graham. It might even have inspired you to make your own ice cream. So I want to give you a little oxygen because I ask you about your ice cream, and I get to Atlanta from time to time when they're not down there fixing elections, which is that we'll do that the next time around. But you had an ice cream. You love ice cream. You must love ice cream, right?
I love ice cream. It's my favorite dessert.
Isn't it? I like it best on the cone, and here's why. And I figured this out a number of years ago. I lost about 35 pounds back in 2006, so I really became portion control, right? So what I did was I found little cones, not the little baby cones, but like little cones. And what I do is 2 little scoops virtually every night. The people at Taharka found out about this and wanted to sponsor me when they found out that I love their pistachio and their honey graham. But I have been eating ice cream, and the thing about when you eat a cone, you lick the cone, it lasts about like 10 or 15 minutes if you do it right. Like if you get a piece of pie or a cookie, it's like gone, in like 20 seconds. But when you get an ice cream cone, you get to enjoy it longer. Like a Baltimore snowball, right? Like you get 100, you get 100 mouthfuls of it, right?
And see, you're teaching me something I never knew about how to eat the ice cream cone. So that's pretty cool.
No, because you get to enjoy it longer, right? I mean,
you get to enjoy it longer.
That's the idea. Well, you're going to get the same calories either way. I found that out. I read the label. What's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream, I like mint chocolate chip. That's one of my favorites. And cookies and cream.
Those are basic. Like, you don't mix anything weird in there? I'm trying to get Taharka to work me up like a pineapple macadamia nut, like a Hawaiian,
flavors. Yeah, we had a blueberry cheesecake at my ice cream shop that was really, really good. It was delicious.
Are you the final taster when it's going at McCoughtry's ice cream? I mean, is it like, do you have to give it the seal? Because I wouldn't like Taharka, they tell me to promote the key lime. I don't like key lime. Now, my wife likes it, right? But I can say I'll eat the graham cracker in it. But, I'm just not a key lime person. So I would, if I had 50 flavors, I'd like 48 of them. But there'd be a couple that I'm like, it's not my thing, Yeah.
And that's the whole point of eating ice cream. You just got to mix and match and taste what just goes with your taste buds, So But yeah, I like funky flavors and mixing it. And right now, my ice cream shop is closed in Atlanta, but we plan on opening it soon. And hopefully, the World Cup comes, I can bring one to Baltimore. So that would be really cool.
I would love that. Go score 38 tonight and go win a championship because it's all you got left to do. And the next time you come back, you can bring a championship ring. How about that?
That sounds like a plan.
Hey, wash your hands. Stay safe down there in the wubble. Keep everybody safe, all right?
All right, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Angel McCoughtry joining us here. She's shooting for Las Vegas these days, but of course, a long, long time in Atlanta and her ice cream store in Atlanta, and coming home to Baltimore when she's not playing basketball in Lebanon, Turkey, Russia, wherever she is. Two-time Olympic gold medalist here on behalf, and I do want to promote this for everybody, especially for our friends Terry and everybody at Maryland Sports, the World Cup bid of the 2026 Baltimore and the Maryland contingent at BaltimoreMD2026.us. That's BaltimoreMD2026.us. I hope I'm with Angel, and I hope I'm with Pete Carinci and all of my soccer buddies when we bring the World Cup to Baltimore. So I'll be talking about that. I still believe in Baltimore. You know that. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. We are merging WNST.net and Baltimore Positive together later in the month under one big umbrella of Baltimore Positive awesomeness. Always nice to catch up with Baltimore people. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, local, and always Baltimore Positive.